So how many of you have seen the movie What About Bob?
Oh, I love it.
Okay, everybody, right? Hopefully. No? One person? Okay, you got to see it. Okay, in the movie, Bob has several challenges, or you might call them several issues. He goes to see Dr. Leo Marvin, who gives him a book called Baby Steps. Bob uses these baby steps to help him overcome some of his challenges. Well, today, as that was already mentioned, I'm going to be talking about taking baby steps to a healthier lifestyle. I'm going to share two stories with you about individuals who took baby steps to help them overcome some of their health issues. The first one's a story about Scott Cutshall. Scott weighed 501 pounds. Scott's doctor told him that if he didn't lose weight, he was going to die. Scott was so heavy that he only went to his apartment 3 times a year. His wife would move him to the window before she'd leave to work so that Scott could see what was going on in the outside world. One day while Scott was looking out the window, he saw a gentleman riding his bike through traffic. He said he looked like he made it look so easy. He looked like a fish swimming upstream, dodging rocks with ease and grace. Scott said he had the biggest smile on his face. He said this experience reminded him of his youth when he used to ride a bike. From that day, Scott started to research bikes. Scott was looking for bikes that could support his weight. He bought 2 bikes. He thought they'd support his weight, but he was still too heavy for him. Scott continued his research. He found a guy that made custom bikes. Scott got in contact with this gentleman. The two started corresponding. The gentleman came to visit Scott. He got Scott's measurements. He made Scott a custom-made bike. Scott's first bike ride, he went around the block 1 time and he rested. He continued to do this for 3 hours. At the end of the 3 hours, Scott had ridden 1.9 miles. He said his body just ached. He could hardly move, but Scott didn't give up. He continued to ride his bike every day for a year. At the end of the year, Scott had accumulated 1,932 miles. He'd lost over 160 pounds. He was now down to 338 pounds. Scott continued to ride, accumulating thousands and thousands of miles. At the end of 3 years, Scott lost 320 pounds, was down to 185 pounds. The next story I'm going to share with you is a friend of mine. His name is Max Meyer. Max is 5'9", 140 pounds. Max hates exercise. He finds it banal. Max had been to the doctor. His doctor told him, Max, your glucose level is too high. You're pre-diabetic. You've got to do something about your diet and your exercise. Now again, Max is 5'9", 140 pounds. He looks fine. Max continued to do the same things in his lifestyle. Continued to go to the doctor. Doctor continued to tell him, Max, you've got to do something. You're getting closer. Your glucose levels are getting closer to being diabetic. Finally, Max made the decision that he needed to do something. He loves Dr. Pepper, drinks ounces and ounces of it every day. He gave up Dr. Pepper. I don't know how exactly he got into this situation, but something about him buying wood, the guy that he bought wood from, he decided that he was going to ride his bike to that gentleman's house. He got up at 5 o'clock every morning, still does, rides his bike 2 miles to this gentleman's house. He chops wood, he hauls the wood, stacks it for this gentleman, no charge to the gentleman. But after a year of doing that, and stopped drinking Dr. Pepper, Max went back to his doctor. His glucose levels are now normal. He says that he feels healthier than he ever has. Why do I share these two stories with you? Well, first of all, Scott, can you imagine 501 pounds? How hard would that be to make a lifestyle change? He's pretty set in his ways. He can hardly move from one place in his apartment to the next without the aid of his wife. If he can do that, we can do it. Max, I can't tell you how bad Max likes, or how much he hates exercise. I mean, that when he says that, you can see the hair on the back of his neck raise. So Max had to find something that he doesn't consider exercise. Max likes to work. It's productive. He found something though. And with that and changing his diet, Max now has a healthier lifestyle. Both of those individuals can do things now that they couldn't do before, and now they have greater freedom to go do things that they hadn't been able to before. I'd like to challenge each of you. I liked Ariane, did I say it right? How she said, yeah, doing things for other people, yeah, I totally agree with that. I also agree, know that by changing a few things in our diets and our exercise can bring about greater happiness and greater freedoms. So take the time and just look at some things that you can do in your own daily routines, whether it be cutting out a soda, whether it be parking further away when you go to the grocery store so you're getting more steps in. But do a few things. Take those baby steps to a healthier lifestyle. Thank you.